If your car or truck idles too high, idles too low, or stalls at stoplights, this little valve right here may just be a reason, and the best part is you may not even have to replace it and get scammed out of money by a shop. And this is everything you're going to need to complete this job your own at home. You'll need a ratchet, an extension, an adapter with a Torx head bit. In my case, it's a Torx head bit. Yours could be different. A 10mm socket, again, could be different, but this is to remove the throttle body. You'll need a flathead screwdriver to remove the retaining rings to get access to the throttle body. You'll need some gloves, a microfiber towel, pipe cleaner, or toothbrush to clean, as well as the throttle body cleaner. Placement, IAC, and then a Haynes repair manual, which I highly suggest picking up because these are invaluable for vehicle maintenance, especially at-home vehicle maintenance. These have everything you need to learn about how to maintain your car at home, and they pay for themselves in the long run. The first step is finding it. To find it, you just got to locate your airbox, trace your intake all the way down to right here, and then the throttle body is right there. You have to remove this to get access to the throttle body, and hidden behind it, kind of actually off to the side over here, is going to be the IAC valve. So let's start by removing this. To remove your airbox, at least on this Dodge, there's going to be a couple clips here that you have to take off. Once we take that off, the next thing to do is just come down here and unscrew this little retention ring and pull out this hose. I'm gonna do that real quick and I'll show you what it looks like after this is all taken off. A little side note about this right here, this can be kind of hard to get off. After you use a flathead screwdriver to loosen up the retaining ring, all you have to do is then kind of just pull up and shimmy this a bit to actually get this to pop off. And for the hose right here, this also just pops off, so just shimmy it a bit and eventually it'll come off. All right, now that we have that entire thing off, right here is your throttle body, right here is your IAC. The IAC is held on by a bolt here, and a wiring harness. But I'm gonna be taking off the entire throttle body. That way I can clean it up so none of this gunk gets back into the system and makes me throw the same code later on. To disconnect this, you have to remove this cable, disconnect this plug right here, this plug over here, and then there's held in by 4 bolts on each corner. After that's done, this should just lift right out and it'll be easier to get access to this. Just be very careful on this wiring harness not to break it. Mine is already kind of broken from the previous owner. And this whole thing right here, the plastic casing over there, is completely gone. So I'm gonna have to replace that at a later date because I didn't know that was an issue until today. You always find new things. All right, now everything is disconnected. This wiring harness, this one, as well as this cable. This just pops out of this little ball right there and then just slides down there. To remove these bolts, in my case, it's gonna be a 10mm socket. So I'm gonna do that real quick and lift up this throttle body. All right. These 4 bolts are done, and now we can lift up this throttle body and look at all that gunk in there. This honestly isn't too terribly bad, but it's still bad enough for me to want to be able to clean it off. But now I have better access to that bolt right there because it was a really big pain to try and get it from the angle I was working at. So I'm gonna take off this bolt and we'll check back in when we're ready for the next step. And to clean your throttle body, it's super simple. Just get some throttle body cleaner, a microfiber towel, toothbrush, pipe cleaner, some sort of agitator. Spray it on here. Use your agitator to break up that carbon a little bit more and wipe it all away. Don't soak it, you don't have to drown it, you just have to get it clean enough. In this case, I already cleaned it and it already looks so much better than how it did when I took it off. Clean both this side as well as this side. Next step is going to be the installation. And installation is the exact inverse of the removal. We'll take this, plug it back in here, fasten the screws, and mount the throttle body back on the truck. And when installing it, go ahead and make sure you clean this mounting surface as well. That way there's no gaps and it mounts securely to the throttle body. So now that we're mounted back in, this wiring harness right here just plugs right in to the IAC. This little white one goes back right here. And finally, this one right there. The next step is to put the cable back on. To do this is pretty simple. This just pops right into place like that. And this right here is actually your throttle. So when you press the gas, this opens up, allowing that air to flow through to get you going. And now that everything's mounted back in there, it's time to put the intake back on top. Same thing, inverse is the opposite. Sorry, inverse of removal. And as with everything with installation, something is bound to go wrong the moment you're done. In this case, the positive crankcase ventilation hose has snapped, so now I got to replace this. I'll show you today in a different video because it's super simple and it's very, very affordable. But I'm not going to start the car because of this issue. Basically negates all of the work we just did. So be very, very careful with your PCV hose. Just be careful with it so you're not in the same boat as I am and spending more money because something decided to break. All right, now that this is all done, you have learned how to replace your IAC, how to remove your throttle body, how to clean your throttle body, and how to replace and reinstall everything that we touched. In the next video, we're gonna be replacing this hose, and while we're at it, gonna go ahead and replace the plastic around this wiring harness. That way, we can clear this code off of this car and everything's squared away. We still have one more code that we gotta clear, but we're gonna focus on these two first, and then we'll tackle the second code. A couple things to note though, your car may need to do an idle relearn. To do an idle relearn, it's super simple, but it does vary based off your car model. So check with your owner's manual or the Haynes repair manual that I mentioned earlier to figure out what works best for your car on how to do an idle relearn. But with that being said, I hope you guys learned something new, and until next time, stay wrenching.